Well. There's another Tsunami preview that hit my timeline. And to my surprise, I saw more people being critical of it, and rightfully so. In my opinion, the level is being handled poorly, and Onilink needs to listen to some of the feedback that the community is giving so that his level can improve. But as always, you still have an equal amount of people defending the level like their life depended on it, which I personally don't understand why. So, I'm gonna break down my criticism of this preview. But before I get into the bad stuff, I want to talk about the good stuff, because yes, Onilink has learned from some of his mistakes in Tidal Wave and applied it here. The first thing is the color usage. It's infinitely better here in Tsunami than in Tidal Wave, especially the yellow color. In Tidal Wave, the yellow color is very blinding, and it's like someone just took a piss on the entire level. But in this preview, the yellow has more of an orange tint to it, giving that sunset look, which thematically looks very good. It makes sense. The on-screen effects with the bubbles, the glow strips, and the spikes being splashed upwards on screen actually look really cool, giving the level more personality that it so desperately needs. Sadly though, that's where the positive ends, because now I'm getting into the bad aspects of this level. Now, I've said this time and time again, even back when Tidal Wave was still unrated and people were bitching about it, wanting it to be rated, and that is that Onilink's decoration style has too much details that the player wouldn't notice, because the structures are regular size, meaning that Onilink doesn't give himself enough space to really make the dense details pop. I want you to look at another level by another creator that has a similar decoration style as Tsunami, which is Sedulous by Semifying. Look at the drop and notice how the decorations in the structures are similar to Tsunami's, right? With the curvy lines, the various amounts of small little details that combine with each other to make a large block of detail. But the main difference with Sedulous is that Semifying has a sense of scale in the drop that really accentuates the densely packed details, because with bigger structures you need more details, so it makes total sense in this case. Then you take a look at Tsunami, and the difference with the structures is night and day. The structures in Tsunami are very regular size, which means the details are being limited and the whole screen will look very inconsistent, since you'll have a few patches of highly detailed parts and then the rest of the level just looks like regular, right? There's no sense of wholeness or cohesion throughout the entire level, which is what this exact decoration style needs to make it look grand rather than messy. Right now, there's two options that I see which Onilink can go for moving forward. Option 1. Overhaul your structuring style to give more of that sense of skill that levels like Sedulous has. If you want to stick to your current decoration style. Thematically, it also makes sense, since tsunamis are usually large and overpowering when in contrast to the land that it's about to hit. In my opinion, this should be the way to go, since it makes the most sense. But option 2, if you think that giving your structures that sense of scale is difficult, which is, fair, because structuring is very hard, then you have to tone down on your level of detail and maybe look outward. Instead of packing all of the details into the structures, you can add more detail in the background or the air deco, so it'll give the same amount of detail, but it's split between the structures and the background / air deco, meaning that your level is consistent and has some sort of cohesion and not very inconsistent, right? In closing, I think that the GD community needs to be more open to the idea of criticism, since generally that's how you improve on your skills. People need to stop taking criticism personally, because it's not a personal attack, and realize that sometimes people just want to help. in any way they can. And the main way to do that is to give feedback. Of course, like I said, you should ignore the ones that are mean-spirited, targeting the actual creator, calling them gay or furry, because yes, I've seen that a lot in levels. The community is just filled with 8-year-olds who think screaming those things are funny. But, you can throw all of those away and just ignore them because, that's fair, right? But I think there's value in considering properly structured criticism, because you need to realize that there's always room for improvement, no matter how much effort you put into a level, no matter how good you think your level is. There's always room to improve. Why stop your potential by having such a huge ego that you can't fathom that people can give feedback on your level? It's good to have confidence, yes, but there's a fine line between confidence and delusion. And if the people around you refuse to criticize you and are constantly defending you, coddling you, being a yes man, that's a surefire way to being extremely delusional and stagnating. And that's very harmful. You're not gonna be improving as fast as you could have if you were to just put your ego aside and take in this feedback that you are getting and apply it to your next project. Anyways, that's all I have. This is the OG Tidal Wave hater, out.